Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric and I hope you're having a good day. Today's video is all about MSG. That's right, one of the most frequently requested videos that we've had as of recent is what happens when you add MSG to a salami. And truth be told, I didn't know the answer. So I thought we'd make a salami, half of it being with MSG and the other half being regular, and see what happens. So let's make an MSG salami. The first thing we're going to do is prepare our meat. So we're going to be using beef, pork, and back fat for the salami. And then we're going to get our starter culture ready. So let's talk a second about MSG, monosodium glutamate, also known as E621. This is an ingredient that's commonly added to food as a flavor enhancer. And while there's a lot of controversy over this particular ingredient, this video is not here to determine whether it's safe or unsafe to eat. All we want to find out is what happens when you add it to a salami. So let's get our starter culture ready for this salami. This starter culture is known as Flavor of Italy. It's going to be adding beneficial bacteria that's going to produce lactic acid. This is going to ferment our salami and make it safe so that we can dry it for the appropriate amount of time. So we're just going to rehydrate that, set that to the side, and let's look at what seasonings we're going to use. So we're going to keep this super simple. We're going to go salt, a little cure number 2. I like to add a little non-fat dry powdered milk, totally optional. We're going to come back with some dextrose. That's going to feed our starter culture. This is garlic powder. And then for the last ingredient, we're just going to add some black pepper. And that's it. Very simple salami. In a separate bowl, we're going to measure out some monosodium glutamate. And MSG is a tricky ingredient because if you add too much to your dish, it can impart a bitter flavor. So we're just going to start off with 1% of the weight of our meat and see how that goes. And hopefully it's not too much. So we've got our MSG ready, our spices are ready, our starter culture is rehydrated, and our meat has been in the freezer re-chilling. Let's go ahead and grind it. Our meat has been ground and it's still incredibly cold. And that's one of the most important steps when making salami. Keep your meat cold throughout the entire process. And to mix it, we're just going to place this in our stand mixer. Now, we're only making a small amount, so this stand mixer can hold roughly about 4 or 5 pounds of mincemeat. We're now going to add our starter culture, so we're introducing good bacteria to this meat, and then we're going to add our seasonings. Once we've mixed our meat to where it's become relatively sticky, so you know if you grab a little handful of it, it'll stick to your hand when you hold it upside down, just like that. We're going to go ahead and remove all that meat because it's all been seasoned the exact same way. And we're just going to add a little bit back to the bowl and season that little bit with MSG. So this little bit that we have right here is going to have the same seasonings as everything else, but with the added MSG. And we're going to see whether or not this 1% of MSG to this mincemeat makes any difference in a dry cured sausage. So we only needed to mix this for another 10 or 15 seconds. The MSG is incorporated, so the one on the left is plain and the one on the right has MSG in it. We're going to go ahead and stuff this into a 61mm synthetic casing from the sausage maker. And this first bit that we're adding is the regular salami. So this is the one without MSG. We're going to empty out our hopper, and then I'm going to go ahead and empty out that horn into that casing just so that we can get as much of it in there. And this tool makes it incredibly easy to do that. So we're just going to stuff it through there, and everything that's stuck in that horn is just going to come right on out. We're going to clean out the horn, clean out the hopper, and now add the MSG salami. And notice I just tied them off right in the middle. So this is just going to be one stick of salami, 2 different flavors, and we're going to see what happens. Now that we've stuffed our salami, we want to go ahead and prick out any air pockets. This is going to ensure even drying. It's going to keep any unwanted molds from growing under the casing. So we're going to prick that salami, and then finally, this is totally optional, but I'm going to be brushing mine with a special mold called Penicillium nalgiavense. It's mold 600. That's going to keep it protected from unwanted molds as it's drying. The last thing we're going to do before we ferment our salami is record the weight. So I'm targeting a 40% weight loss. So as you can see here, my actual weight is 1043. My target weight is 625. That's in grams. And once we've got that ready to go, it's time to ferment. Fermenting a salami doesn't have to be complicated. All we have to do is place that stick of salami in an area where the temperature and the humidity requirements are met so that the bacteria can thrive. By wrapping my salami in cling film, my humidity is going to stay above 90%, and the temperature of my kitchen is about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which is absolutely perfect for this starter culture. So to ferment the salami, we're going to leave it on our kitchen counter between 18 to 24 hours. Our target temperature is 75F to 85F or 24 to 29C. We want the humidity to be at least 85% or higher. By wrapping our salami in cling film, we're going to achieve that no problem. And the pH that we're targeting, so as this salami is acidifying, our pH is going to lower. The target pH is between 4.9 and 5.2. That's considered the safe zone for this particular salami starter culture. It's been about 20 hours and we're going to test the pH. And there's a couple things that you're going to notice about this particular salami. Now, we're going to be testing a sample because I don't want to disturb the mincemeat that we have in the casing. And this is just meat that was left over in the hopper. The first thing you're going to notice is a visible and striking color change. And if you squeeze your sample, if you press it down, you're going to notice that it feels coagulated or better bound together. Matter of fact, an interesting test is to try to pull it apart without a lot of force, but it's not going to feel like regular raw ground meat feels. It's actually going to feel bound together. It's also going to have a wonderful fermented aroma. If you've made any fermented salami in the past, it'll be very specific and it's unmistakable. It smells absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and test the pH with our Apera Instruments pH meter. We're looking for anything between 4.9 and 5.2. And the Apera Instruments gives us a little smiley face when it's stable, and we're at 5.1. So it looks like we're good to go, and our salami is done fermenting. Now, I know a lot of you have this particular pH meter, and I've been getting a lot of emails requesting a video showing how to properly maintain it. So be patient. That video is almost finished, and I'll show you how to properly maintain your pH meter to get the most out of it. So let's unwrap our salami. And when you unwrap that salami, you're going to notice that your cling film is full of moisture, and that's because of that high humidity that we've trapped inside. That's exactly what you should be looking for. Let's place this into a drying cabinet where we're going to let it hang until we hit our weight loss target. The conditions inside of our chamber are going to be 55F or 13C, with an 80% humidity. And this is how it's going to remain for the entire time until we hit our target, which is anywhere between 35 and 40%. I like a firmer salami, so I'm going to shoot for that 40% mark. But if you like a softer salami, you can do anywhere between 30 to 35%. It's really up to you. All right, our salami is done drying. It's taken roughly about 2 months, roughly 60 days, in order for this salami to hit its target weight. Notice that it's got a nice white mold covering on the outside. That's from that Penicillium nalgiavense that we brushed on earlier in the video. And as we visually inspect the salami, there's no unwanted molds and there's no off smells. It smells great. So let's go ahead and take a peek at this salami and see what's going on. It feels firm throughout. When I squeeze it, it's nice and firm. And this one right here is MSG, and this one is plain. So let's go ahead and cut off the MSG salami and unwrap the plain one and see what it looks like on the inside. And what I'm thinking we'll do is we'll just slice each one separately and then give them a taste at the same time. And so I'm loving the color of the plain one so far. It smells great. It smells exactly like a fermented sausage should. Let's go ahead and remove the casing. Okay, everything looks good. Let's now cut into the MSG variety. And the tips look great. Now, often you'll find little air pockets and you might find some discoloration there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your salami is bad. You could just, cut those pieces off. And now we'll remove the casing. And I want to tell you that at this stage, everything looks identical. The color, the texture, the smell. Let's go ahead and slice the plain salami and place that on the cutting board. And then we're going to go ahead and slice the MSG salami and do the exact same. And this has nothing to do with MSG, but I love that number 12 grinder's coarse plate, as it gives you some really nice marbling, and I just think it looks absolutely beautiful. So let's go ahead and see what we got going on. We've got our plain salami. Texture feels right. Let's go ahead and give it a little taste, see what it's all about. Here we go. That's tasty. Very balanced salami, simple in its flavors. The beef and the pork are shining. The fat is creamy, nice fermented flavor, standard salami. So let's go ahead and try the MSG version and see what that is all about. And so far, everything looks the exact same. Texture is the same. Let's go ahead and give that a taste. Ooh, that's interesting. If I weren't trying these side by side, I probably wouldn't know that MSG was added, but there is definitively a difference in flavor between the MSG salami and the plain salami. The MSG salami seems to have an additional umami element to it, and it tastes as if the beef and the pork has almost been enhanced in a way. Another interesting element is the spices seem to be more present in the MSG salami, as the salt and the garlic and the pepper seem to have a more fresh quality. So there you have it. That's what happens when you add MSG to a salami. It actually does enhance the flavor. And if you're looking to add a je ne sais quoi quality to your salami, MSG just might be the ingredient for you. So thanks a lot for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject. Leave them in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. We post new videos each week. We'll see you in the next one.